topics. Now we're going to get into what I have been looking forward to for, 9 weeks? Watchmen is...
I'm changing my HBO password, by the way.
That's fine. It's the only show that I needed to watch.
So brilliant.
Yeah.
That's going to be HBO Max.
Whatever. But, yeah, Watchmen is over. We've got 9 weeks worth of show done. Arguably, I will say is one of the best shows ever. Mm-hmm. And probably one of the best first seasons of a show, maybe.
Only seasons of a show.
Yeah, like, I cannot say enough good things about this show. I have never been so entranced with a TV show every single episode and not taking my eyes off the screen. This show, and it went out with in Bay.
Did it?
You don't think so?
Get to that.
To be honest, right now, I don't even know where to start.
No, I mean let's talk about overall thoughts, and then obviously the episodes that matter is like the last one. We maybe talk about our favorite episode. And that stuff like that. So I mean, going in, look, we were all looking forward. We were looking forward to it, but the trailers.
I don't even know if I was looking forward to it. I was just like,
well, the trailers we had no idea what was going on.
Exactly.
It was like just looking at a blank screen to us because it was so like, even to people who read the comic books, like you see the footage and you're like, okay, like what is that? Well, okay, I'm not sure what that is. Like what's going on here? Like that type of stuff, right? But then the first episode happens, and then you see, oh my god, why am I forgetting? Regina King is his character, and then you see Don, what's his name?
Oh, Don Johnson?
Don Johnson. Yeah. You see Don Johnson as the sheriff, right? And then you see the opening scene is...
Nelson?
Obviously the opening scene, we get the opening scene, but then we see a black cop pull over a white gentleman, and then it turns out to be a white supremacist as the Rorschach gang. And a white supremacist shoots a black cop, and there's all these rules about not unloading a gun, and like, wearing masks, and you're like, okay, what is this world? What is going on?
You see the falling squid.
Yeah, and then the very last moment of the episode pays homage to the Watchmen of the comedian. You see Don Johnson get hanged. You're like, what? He's supposed to be a main character of the show, and he dies in the first episode. You're instantly hooked. In a heartbeat, you're hooked, and you're just like, okay, where is this going to go? And for the next 8 weeks, we don't know where it's going. Right. We had no idea what was happening.
But somehow it all ties.
Exactly, and so, we can get into all these details and whatever, but I always go back to the filmmakers of this stuff. I cannot give enough credit to Damon Lindelof. This guy, what he's able to do as a creator, he didn't direct anything. He solely wrote it for television, for these guys to do. But what he was able to do as a writer and a filmmaker is some of the best adaptation material you will see. Period. Because it doesn't just pay great respect to the graphic novel Watchmen or to the comic book genre or anything, but it also plays so heavily in the world we currently live. The themes and the points that it made, and I told someone this the other day, the fact that no matter what it was doing, no matter what character was on screen, what color of the character, what storyline it was telling, it gave no Fs. It gave absolutely no Fs in every aspect. Didn't matter what it was telling. It could have been someone burning at the stake. It could have been the KKK. It could have been the Klan. It could have been anything from the 40s and 50s about blacks living in America or whatever. It gave no Fs at all. And so for a show to be able to do that on this scale, it's unbelievable. And then the biggest reveal in like comic book television history, the fact that Dr. Manhattan was sitting under our fucking noses the entire time. Like,
played by not a white person.
Yeah, exactly.
Which
Another,
no one saw coming.
This
show literally gave the middle finger to anyone and everyone.
Social justice warriors, correctness, all that stuff.
It literally just said, you know what? Screw it. You're doing exactly what you want to do. And I think I just read something the other day. The director did say, he said, this is what you get when you have a diverse group of people. And he literally, he just went off about how they didn't just stick with the all-white male writers, didn't stick with just male writers, female writers. He said he literally grabbed whoever did a good story and threw them in that writing room. That is exactly what you get when you do something like that. You have different minds thinking of different things that this person can't think of, this person doesn't realize, and then you just get beautifulness that is that show. That show might be one of the best written shows I've ever seen. Period. Just solid throughout the whole entire time. At not one point were you just like, filler episode. Oh, okay, this was.
There's one thing that sticks out to me when we talk about writing, because there's a lot of times, right, when you're watching shows or television, waiting for something to, right, you're waiting for a reveal, or like a question is posed, and you're waiting like are we gonna get to this? The Ozymandias stuff always sticks out to me, and a lot of people don't recognize this today. Every time we saw him, every single time we saw him, there was a year gap. And nobody knew until 6, 7, 8, until the last episode when he said, I've been waiting 8 years. That's 8 episodes, right? But they gave us clues to maybe think and wonder. It was a total critical thinking show, and I applaud it so much for that, because we get so many shows that you're like, oh, that's cool. Like, I watch the Arrowverse stuff, right? But a lot of it is just action and classic comic books. This, you literally, like you said, you can't look at your phone. You can't be reading a book. It can't be a background show. You have to pay attention to every single thing that happens.
Every second.
The last episode is a great example of that with the egg. It's a great example of you have to watch every single second of it with the egg. So it just, it's hard to talk about because I don't know what to talk about with it. All I know is that it's a phenomenal achievement in filmmaking, not TV, not film, filmmaking in general. I cannot applaud any more everyone involved. Like, it just, so good.
It's funny because I didn't get to see it until this morning. Because I was on vacation. I hadn't watched it. I was like, please not let anything spoil. I able to avoid it for 3 days. I am so glad nothing spoiled, because this ended so good, and just like actors that are in this. I mean, Jeremy Irons is amazing.
Yeah.
Everyone, Regina King kicks the most ass I have ever seen. She's so good. If this show doesn't win every award,
it wasn't nominated. It wasn't eligible because it was still going.
Yeah, it was still
going. So it'll be nominated next year.
Okay. Well, then next year, this show doesn't win every award next year. Holy cow! It was literally throwing all of the bad stuff happened to Erica in your face and saying, "Screw you!" Like, this is what happened. Watch it, and it's amazing. I can't believe it, how good it was. And to me, best analogy for this is, I felt like someone dumped a puzzle on the table with a bunch of different pieces. Slowly by slowly, you're putting this puzzle together. By the end of the season, you were like, holy crap. Now I get it. Because the first 2-3 episodes, you're like, what is going on? Like, this thing is wild. And then at the very end, you're like, oh, holy crap! That's when they met the egg.
It did.
She's literally spinning an egg, and it's a huge thing.
It did. Game of Thrones is known for telling a number of different stories, having a number of different storylines in one story, essentially, right? Going to all these different places. this show did that same exact thing on an extremely expert level. You had the stuff with Angela Abar, right? You had the stuff with Lady True, stuff with Ozymandias, you had the stuff with the white supremacy and Looking Glass. There's 4 storylines right there for you. Yes, you can argue that a lot of the episodes were dedicated to each of them throughout, and then they kind of wrapped up towards the end as it kind of got more towards the closing episodes. But it's hard to do that with this type of show, especially coming from a prior source material, paying close attention to what that was and all the time, and making sure you're not pissing off people with what that story is and everything. It amazes me kind of stuff they were able to tell and do in this show. I mean, it's for the last 9 weeks we've been talking about how Jenny King needs to play every part ever.
Oh,
like
100%.
she's just incredible, right? And Yahya Abdul-Mateen II, that guy went from being the coolest stay-at-home husband of all time to the most powerful god in the universe, right? I mean, it's just like
his tweet.
Yeah, when he's just laughing. The video of him just laughing.
Everyone found out he was Dr. Manhattan was the best.
100%.
Because literally, no one thought it. And him just laughing was just like, just the icing on the cake.
Amazing.
Such a good, oh my, bravo, your side.
That's really incredible. But, so how'd you guys feel, honestly, like, about the thing? The show, like the reveal of him and Dr. Manhattan, everything about it was just crazy, and the white supremacists using the Rorschach mask and turning his truth to something else for their benefit, a very real modern media twisting.
I guess if I was forced to say something I would have wanted more of the show, it is the Rorschach masks. Because it was so heavily in like the first 2 episodes, and then it kind of disappeared for a while, right? And obviously it came back in a huge way. And again, this is spoilers. I mean, they were essentially behind Dr. Manhattan stuff, the governor or senator or whatever.
I wouldn't even say they were behind it. Lady True kind of
yes, but they were involved in it.
Oh,
it was kind of like a package deal on opposite sides in a way. And so I guess if I had a gun in my head and I was forced to do something, that was probably the one thing I wish I would have wanted more of. But I understand why, because Angela Abar's story was much more important. Ozymandias' story was much more important. Lady True's story was much more important.
Her grandpa, the nostalgia episode?
Yes. The nostalgia episode was incredible when she goes back in those days. And, I love the way that it wasn't just him the entire time, where you see a camera of him, but then you go to the next character and then you pan back over and it's her. Like, the way they used the camera in this series is incredible.
That whole flashback.
And I'm so glad that they were just like they were brave with it. They weren't afraid to show things and do it all in black and white, and the homosexual stuff obviously like plays a huge part in our world today. Like everything, like it's incredible. It really is, like the things they do with it, and it all paid off in the end. It really did. It all paid off.
It's amazing because even the smallest little thing, it's not a name, something. He's something huge. The detail is incredible. Like, it's amazing. Like, the thought that I had one complaint. I didn't find out anything about Lube Man. That was probably one of the coolest scenes.
What happened to him?
I'm sorry. As dorky as it sounds, that scene, I love how he just goes straight in.
Right.
If I don't find out who that is next season,
if they ever do a next season,
I think it's just a one and done.
I want it to just be one. I don't want a second season because it was so great, and I think that it was a complete story. I don't think you need a second season. Obviously, being a comic book universe and everything, you can do a second season.
Yeah.
But I think that it would be so powerful of them just be like, "No, we don't need to do a second season." I think it was so perfectly balanced for 9 episodes from start to finish, it was one complete story. Every character ended up where they were supposed to. Every character did what they were supposed to. All the storylines were wrapped up. Like I said, everything paid off in the end. Don't overdo it. Like, I understand that it's the hottest thing on television right now. That doesn't mean you need a second season. I get it. You want one.
Trust me.
Trust me.
I think they're gonna do it.
I get it. Like, and I know that sucks, but the problem is, I don't think Lindelof will be involved. Nope. I don't.
You think that's because he doesn't want to be, or because HBO will try to?
Because I don't think he.
He made this masterpiece.
No, I don't think he thinks there should be a second season. I think that he thinks that it's one story and that's all you need to do. Personally, I don't think he'll be involved if you do a second season.
Would I be really bummed out that I didn't get to see more of this? Yes, I loved it.
Plus, it would stick with the idea of the show, right? This show's been giving no F's this entire year, right? It's balls to the wall all year long. How ballsy would it be to never do a second season ending on that cliffhanger? How many F's do you think they give if they ended on that?
I already seen the putting like a meme.
What do you guys think?
Beginning of the first season, at the beginning of the second season, it's just her falling into
100%. She got the powers because they're not going to do a Luke Skywalker thing. You hand him the saber and he throws it over. Right? If she just fell into the pool, it'd be that thing all over again, but Watchmen style. There would be no point to it. Dr. Manhattan always had a plan. He was right. He saw every possible outcome at every single time. He was in every single moment ever. There's a reason for it.
I will say, how did Ivar remember that? I mean, how did she forget that he was Dr. Manhattan?
She didn't.
She didn't.
She knew the whole time.
Knew. He forgot.
She knew the whole time.
She knew that he was Dr. Manhattan.
Yeah, because remember when she cracked his head open, she was like, "Hey, baby."
Well, before that, like
she knew the entire time.
She knew the whole. Because he was like, "I'll have 10 great."
They lived their life together. She knew the entire time that he was Dr. Manhattan and that he put himself away to be together, right? And then at the moment of need, whether it was because she remembered it was 10 years or not, but in the moment of need, she said, "I'm cracking the skull open, but baby, I need you. We're in trouble."
Why didn't she do that after the?
Because it wasn't necessary. Remember, in the 9th episode, when we see that scene again, when it opens the scene or the episode, she says they know who you are. That's the moment she realizes, okay, I need you.
It's like if they figured out that Dr. Manhattan wasn't on Mars as well.
If it came down to the fact that he was involved in some capacity, that's when she knew she had to wake him up. She could figure out everything else. White supremacy, Don Johnson being hanged, the grandfather stuff, Lady True. She could figure that stuff out. But when it came down to them knowing who he was, she had to wake him up.
I just think back to when Lady True was asked, like, you haven't asked me who Dr. Manhattan
because she knew.
Oh no, the puzzled look on her face made me.
Puzzled look was holy crap.
Yeah.
I'll have to go back and rewatch it. I mean,
because
that was always a hole.
Because remember, she said, she goes, he's not on Mars or Europa. He's on Earth, and he's been on Earth. And she goes, in her head, she's like, oh, F.
Why isn't that surprising?
And then, because she didn't ask, Lady True's thinking, he knows. And that's when she figures out that it's her husband. Again, remember how I mentioned it's a critical thinker, and they're not telling you; they're making you think about it.
They're making you. Oh,
yeah.
I'll tell you, it was so satisfying to watch Ozzy and this kill that guy with the mask on. He was starting to. He's been annoying me the whole time.
But Alias was just another one of his.
He was just.
Was I a good villain or whatever it was?
I love that. It again gives no F's. Gives no F's.
You were like
put on a hell.
Yeah, that's what he said. God, I'm gonna. I agree with you. Absolutely love to see more. Yes, but it needs to be that level of amazingness. If it did end like that,
Into Dr. Man.
So exactly what the character should have been.
Yeah, the way he talked, his mannerism, just him and Regina back and forth. That episode, second to last episode. Oh, dialogue. Just amazing. And even we call them filler episodes, fascinating. Just it.
Oh, there was not a single filler episode.
No. But I'm saying,
but yeah,
if
you
were to call it, or those who do call it a filler episode, they're so fascinating. How it all ties in together. You're just like, how does this episode start off with the justice interrogation? Wants the shit out of them.
What was the name thing? Remember we were talking about the name thing with Dr. Manhattan? How her husband's name was
the dildo?
No. The dildo's name. What was the dildo's name?
Excalibur.
So Excalibur. What's Angela Abar's husband's name?
Cal.
And the X.
Caliber. Cal Abar.
X. Cal. Caliber.
So that was what this. Was that like the third episode or something?
It was the first episode that she showed up in.
So I think it was like
third or fourth.
Yeah. So they dropped it to us. They gave us our first hint right there, right? And then
the giant dildo was
and then
X Cal Abar.
Exactly.
X Cal Abar. It's that's the type of stuff that like
I also love the episode title name.
Right?
Oh yeah,
and how
a god walks into a bar.
Yeah, God,
like that's incredible.
And I love how they do it. Like it's on the screen. The characters like
yeah. Great stuff. Incredible stuff.
Yeah. So much of this last.
You guys are more than likely going to win as far as it's going to get a second season. I just don't think there's personally.
No, I agree with you on both. Like it ended beautiful.
Wait, see the first two. Long. Get to season.
It depends on the show. It really does.
Incredible.
All three of them are great. Season 2 is incredible. Season 3 is great.
Yeah.
Sorry,
Arrow.
we disagree on that.
No, I agree.
I was like, he's not going to say it wasn't good. Not going to say it.
Arrow, I stopped watching after season. Oh no, wait.
Everyone else did but me.
Arrow has 24 seasons.
I would have loved to have seen that show on like a.
Oh, it would have been.
Because they would have given it 12 episodes a season. This would have been absolutely something like this. What do you guys think about? Do you guys think that they did 9 episodes on purpose because of the 9 frames on pages of the graphic novel? You guys hear about that? So you know there's 9 key frames on the pages of the graphic novel. They did 9 episodes. Right?
Yeah.
It's again that type of show.
At this point, everything, every single thing, every word has some type of thing behind it. And
very Zach.
Oh my god.
And
symbolism.
So that's our episode today.
I will say one last thing. I am super bummed that what is it, Night Owl?
I know.
Night Owl didn't show up anywhere.
Why aren't you?
A lot of people were theorizing that he would have showed up in the finale and he was been jailed this entire time. But again, if they do a second season, more than likely we'll see. And probably the new Silk Spectre and the whole crew. Yeah.
He just starts.
Dude, Jeremy Irons, that guy is
he's the best. The best. When he starts to go off in his speech, like, we're not.
And we also haven't mentioned, but Tim Blake Nelson is Looking Glass, dude.
He was
incredible. The episode focused on him was amazing.
Yeah.
Learning the history of New York and everything, absolutely incredible. Yeah.
The music scores too.
Don't even get me started. Trent Reznor and Atticus Ross.
Yes.
Just unbelievable.
You know what? So I didn't notice this. But this is the same with The Mandalorian. But they released a new track every episode, or maybe like actually, that's wrong. For Watchmen, they did 3 volumes. 1 volume for the first 3, second volume for the second 3, a third volume for the third 3. Mandalorian, they're doing a new track every episode, so there's 8 tracks or whatever. But yeah, the score is
you just like incredible. I could literally just put that soundtrack on
Yeah, I have it. I listened to it. I have
Watchmen
it.
one. Or did you do?
Yeah. As soon as I watched the first episode, I went straight to my computer and downloaded it.
Yeah.
I downloaded 2 of them. The main theme is called Brick Wall or The Brick, and the second one has a different name that I downloaded. But just the beat of it's very, very Blade Runner vibe to me, mixed with like an Interstellar-ish. It's
That's a one for your record. Yeah. Tell we did really kind of.
This would be a great clip out. Spoiler review.
Yeah, we didn't even really talk spoiler. We just raved about how much we love this show. As you can see,
spoiler. Her husband is Dr. Manhattan. There's the spoiler for you.
Spoiler. I would love to do. I think we should top 10, top 5 or something. This show had a lot of things,
like surprising moments.
Yeah,
shockers.
So, but yeah. So